There is actually one thing I've been thinking about a lot during the last time, and that's what is the difference between the pot. Not only weight and size and all that things, I'm also very interested in which pot is the fastest one. Of course, I tell you which kind of pot it is, what material it is, and the build and so on. But this is not a review of pot. Here I want to compare different speed on the pot. My name is Matti. I'm working as a dog musher and nature guide up in northern Sweden, together with my partner Stina. We run a small dog sled guide company called Jokkmokk-guiderna just above the Arctic Circle in northern Sweden. Outdoor life is actually what we're doing for a living. I'm sitting here behind the tent, and that will give us a little bit bad light on the video, but I do it because I want this wind shelter from the tent where I can put up the stove. And I'm going to take the water straight from the lake, because then the water will be the same temperature, and the situation behind the tent will be the same for each pot. This must be as equal as possible for each pot. It's not a scientific thing, but it will give us a kind of relation between the pot, maybe. I don't really know what the result will be. I'm going to use this sort of Windmaster because this stove is kind of good even if it's low pressure in the tube. So the heat will not change so much depending on how much gas it's left in the tube. I have several tubes with me, so I will change the tubes also. I will try to make it as equal for each pot as possible. Let's do this test and then we see. The first test we're going to do is that we're going to take 5 pots that are very similar size. The first pot is a Trangia pot, and it's 1.7 liters, something like that. It's 148 gram, 70 to 18 centimeters, something like this in the bottom. That's an important thing. It's kind of lightweight, and aluminium pots are cheap. There is people who are saying that you should avoid aluminium because aluminium gives you Alzheimer's. I tried to Google a little bit about that. I don't really know how it actually is. I avoid aluminium pots a lot. I use them for heating up water. I use them for pasta and things like that. But I try to not stirring in it. Back in old days, you whipped cream in an aluminium pot and the cream is grey. So, of course, I don't think it's super healthy, but I don't know if it's super dangerous either. The second pot is a Trangia Dual. It's stainless steel on the inside and it's aluminium on the outside. This pot they started to produce when couldn't sell aluminium pots in US 20-30 years ago. So then they started to produce this kind of pot. This one is heavy. It's 1.7 liter and it's 272 gram for this pot. 70 centimeters, something like that in the bottom. This is actually kind of nice pot. The third pot is a Trangia Titanium pot. This is also 1.7 liters, the same size as the two before. This is 118 gram. The bad thing with titanium is that they usually get strange in the bottom. They are not flat anymore. They start getting bubbles when you use them. You easily burn your food in it, but they're lightweight, they are expensive, and they're really durable, hard. Same size as the two before. The third pot is a Primus with this heat exchanging thing. These have also kind of ceramic, or call it Teflon. They call it ceramic today, but it's actually kind of plastic thing they put on the stove, on the pot inside. It's really good when you're cooking. If you're not really burning things, it's easy to clean it. This is not healthy, and you can just Google and you will find out by yourself. This is a little bit smaller. It's 1.5 liter, something like that. But the size on the bottom is more or less the same as the other ones. 17 centimeters, something like this. This one is 225 gram. Now we'll see. It will be interesting to see how it makes with a heat exchanging in comparison to the other ones. Pot number 5 is a Sea to Summit. This comes with a handle, so it's actually a little bit more heavy because of that. It's also 2.7 liter, so it's bigger. The size on the bottom is the same, more or less, as the other ones. Stainless steel is also kind of good because you even if you scratch the bottom, you don't get things into your food. So it's kind of healthy to use it. It's more heavy than the other ones, the material, but it's really, really durable. It's the same with this as with the titanium. If you heat it up too much without something in, you get bubbles on the bottom. This have a kind of plastic something here, so it should not slide around on the stove. This one, 2.7 liter and 309 gram, but with a handle. So the first comparison we're going to do is to boil half liter of water in each one of them. I'm going to use a cover that I haven't weighed into the weight of the pot, because you can always use some other kind of aluminium or whatever. This comes with a nice lid, but this comes without a lid. Now we will see. This is a thing that I've been thinking about for many years. How much different is it between the pots? And I actually never gave me the time to test it. That's a good thing with YouTube. Now I test it, I record it, and I have a reason to do it. Normally I don't do this. I just go out. Two minutes and 6 seconds. Let's take next one. I think when the pot is heavy, it's more material that had to be heated up. So that's one thing. The second thing is that different material transfer the heat in different speeds through the material. This one is a dual. I threw out the water from the Alzheimer's pot, and now we will have some dual Trangia pot coffee, just some powder coffee, very close to boiling. Look, this is very interesting actually. Here we go. 2 minutes 12 seconds. Coffee. Trangia Titanium. Now we're doing the third one, Trangia Titanium. While we're waiting for this, I must show you. This is a kind of chair. It's from ALPS Mountaineering, and we bought them from a company in Sweden called Packraft Sweden. It's a small company that sells Packraft boats and good backpacks, and yeah, some fun stuff like this. And I just talked with that guy who have that company, and he sent his stuff all over Europe. So I can recommend you to go into this company if you wanna buy things if you're living in Europe. Packraft Sverige. Packraft Sverige. And it's a small company, and I have the philosophy that we should support this small company, not go to the big ones. This is a guy who actually burning for, did you say burning? Yeah, he actually love what he's doing, and that's why he do this, selling these boats and chairs and outdoor stuff. Yep. 226. Pot number 4, Primus with the heat exchanging system. Okay, we had to switch on the clock. Start. I'm really interested in the speed of this pot when you have the heat exchanging. They say that it should be like 20% faster than the other one, that you're saving 20% of the fuel. Oi! Shit! $1.31. That was a fast one. I'm impressed. I didn't expect it to be so fast. That's amazing. So now the last pot. We need 0. We need to start this. Suddenly the wind changed and started coming straight towards me. This is not good at all. I need to come away from the wind. This is good. So now Cetus Summit stainless steel pot. I maybe should have stayed inside at home for making this test, because you see it's a little bit more wind than the other ones. It's not really fair actually, but life is not fair. Sorry, Cetus Summit. Maybe. You can see inside here that it's a little bit wind on the inner tent, so it's not super fair for this pot. But yeah, that's how it is right now. But it's not windy. So, geez, I'm impressed. This pot gets the worst condition of all these pots. 140 and it's boiling. Huh. Take notes, Matti. Interesting. Now the second test, and that's the test with the pots with different diameter. I start with the small one. I have a ½ liter of water in that. I do the same volume in all 3. So this is a Toke 750 milliliter. The diameter is 9.5 centimeter in the bottom. So this pot will have the smallest surface towards the flame. Where's my coffee? Here's my coffee. I make ½ liter of water in all 3 of these titanium pots. Now the sun is in the clouds. Anyway, this is 2:30 now, and small bubbles. 243 with the Toke's 750 ml. Then we change it again. New water. Now we're going to make Toke's 1100 milliliter. Let's start the stove. Start. One thing that's super important to add to this is that you don't get more happy if you have a titanium pot. I know, I've tried that. I'm still normal happy. If you have something that is covered with this Teflon, and you start that you see scratches or see that the surface is hurted, then you should not use it anymore, because this plastic is really unhealthy, and then you should swap it. That's the downside with this plastic Teflon ceramic shit. So you should not use them too much. The iron, stainless steel, the titanium and the aluminium, they you can just continue using as long as you want. You start happening things here. So this is a Toke's 1100 milliliter. The diameter is 12.8 centimeter. If you compare to this Toke's that was 9.5 centimeter. Here we go. Stop. 217. So this was actually faster than the small one. Now it's time for the last one. I actually already have made the test of this with this one, but I want to make it again to see how much different it is, because this was one of the first one I made. So we're going to try it. Trangia Titanium. Switch on the stove. Start. $2.29. What was it last time? $2.26. So between the first time when I used this pot and the second time I used this pot, it was 3 seconds. And yeah, that's maybe my mistake, or yeah, I don't know. Of course, it will be few things that have been changing and so, but all over it's actually quite almost the same. Okay, then we had to look at the result. The absolutely fastest pot of all of them was Primus with this heat exchange thing. This is 1:31, 1 minute and 31 seconds for heating up half liter of water. Just after that, it was a Sea to Summit 2.7 liter, and that heated up 1 minute and 40 seconds. You can see it's not really fair because this one have a little bit bigger surface than the heat exchanging thing. So all over you can actually say that maybe the surface, how important is that? If you compare that it's actually stainless steel and this is aluminium. So this one was the two fastest one. After that we have the Trangia. Trangia Aluminium, the cheap one, was 2 minutes and 6 seconds. And after that we have the Trangia the Dual, 2 minutes and 12 seconds. And then we have the Trangia Titanium, 2 minutes and 26 seconds. If you want something cheap and average fast, average weight, so aluminium is still good. But then you should be aware of these ideas about Alzheimer's, because I don't really know how healthy it is or if it is an issue or not. I try to avoid it, but I don't actually think that there is proven anything. The titanium is also lightweight, but it's much slower than the other two ones. And that's probably because titanium don't transfer heat so well through the titanium as aluminium are doing. Then if we look at the 3 titanium pots, here we can actually see more difference. This Tokes, the small 750 milliliter, used 2 minutes and 40 seconds, 43 seconds for heating up a half liter. So this is a slow one with a small surface. It's lightweight, it's nice to pack, so that's the advantage of it. This one, the medium, is 2 minutes and 17 seconds. And this one, the Trangia, is 2 minutes and 29 seconds. I'm writing the result down in the description so you can look at it. If you're doing something short just over the day and you use something like this, you don't need to save on the gas. But if you do a week, or if you do like 10 days or 3 weeks hike, then suddenly this more heavy pot is more interesting to use because you save so much gas, so you don't need to carry so much weight. But this with the exchange, you can't use it on an open fire. So this goes out if you use open fire. All the other pots are good for open fire. But maybe one of the most important thing is that use what you have. Don't start dreaming about equipment that you don't have, because what actually is important is your time out here. All these pots I have been showing right now, I've been using them for several years, each one of them. Like this aluminium pot is from when I was a kid, more or less. And this one is probably 10-year-old. The Sea to Summit is 3-year-old. And the Dual Aluminium, I don't remember, 15, 20-year-old. This small titanium, they are 2-3 years old, not more. And this Trangia Titanium, this is minimum 10-year-old. So I have been using them a lot, and yeah. If you have made some similar tests like this, please leave a comment and write what your result is and your ideas about this. It would be interesting to see, because this is not at all scientific. Some words are difficult in English, but this is just a small test. And maybe you have other ideas about this. And before we stop this, I want to say big thanks to all of you who have subscribed, leaving comments, who are Patreons, who are doing this buy me a coffee and all that things. And thanks for leaving comments. Thanks for leaving your ideas about this, because tell me what you think about this. It's also super interesting. Now I had to pack up everything and go back home and start editing this video. See you. Ciao.